Okay, so you started the recording. Yeah, oh, good, nice
Wow.
kill. And it'll just be a minute or so. I'm looking to talk about something, same as before.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Yeah, so right now our team's holding pretty close.
Is that okay? Because I've heard that.
It's okay if your whole team's doing it. So I guess the fight's over. So if one person, let's say you were just doing it on your own, then that's bad, right? So a famous coach, right, Jane, right, he says that when one person is doing something stupid, that's called feeding, right? Or throwing. When 6 people are doing something stupid, that's called a strategy. So if your entire team's up in spawn holding it, then go ahead and do it, right? It might not be the best, but it's better than you not joining them.
Okay. Do I just leave that?
Yeah, unless he's contesting point, then you don't have to worry about him. See, right, if like your whole team's up there, just make sure you're up with them. There we kind of had backed up a little bit. Nice shield. Okay. So far, not a whole lot has happened, right? I maybe say just make sure we're getting slightly more aggressive when we are able to, because we're playing slightly a passive play style at the moment. So just make sure we're going in and swinging and doing things when we have health and shields and we have teammates available.
Okay.
Okay, those mines you probably help to clear out because you can destroy them either by swinging at them or using your shield to destroy them. So rather than just running away, you probably want to destroy those so they can't help your team. They can't harm your team. Okay, pretty solid shatter.
Enemy turret ahead.
Alright, so I'm not noticing us use cover a lot, right? So it's just positioning again, right? Remember, good positioning is usage of cover, bad positioning is the absence of cover. That means that you want to be positioning yourself on like corners and whatnot, whereas a lot of the times we're just kind of holding on the open. So make sure when we're just kind of standing there waiting for them to push in and whatnot, that we're using corners, right? So if our whole team's sitting here on point, we're not gonna sit. Well, so we're holding here on point. We probably hold like the bottom like left corner, right below where you're at.
Where did he go? Oh my god.
Use shielding isn't gonna do anything against the blade. It slashes right through
Oh,
your shield.
really?
Yep. So any physical attacks like that are just going to go straight through it. Your shield only blocks like bullets and projectiles. It doesn't block like Reinhardt's swinging or Genji's blade, because they're physical attacks and they go through it. And make sure when we're not shielding anything in particular that we're dropping our shield so we get it back, right? That we're not just leaving it up to be sitting at 400. Pretty massive shatter. Shatters are looking very solid.
Oh.
Okay, so
Wait.
so far, ultimates looking very solid. Like we got big ultimates when we used them, we didn't hold on to them. Though it's looking pretty weak in all the other areas, though. Right, like making sure we're using cover. I'd probably say the biggest one we're looking at so far is the awareness and aggression, which I imagine is like the one that we always put up there at the top, like with the other ones, right? Um, so just wanting to make sure we're paying attention to what's going on, and then getting aggressive accordingly. As oftentimes, I probably say just in general, we're playing slightly too passive. In a lot of instances where we're just kind of hanging around and chilling when we don't really want to be doing that. We want to be getting aggressive. So that's just the things to pay attention to. So did we talk about on Reinhardt swinging your camera around at all?
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah, so just make sure you're doing that when you're swinging at people, right? That you're basically just as the reminder, right? To and I can stream real quick, right? And I don't think I need to stream because we've gone over a lot of the techie stuff from Reinhardt, and what I'm talking about is a lot of like kind of the repeat stuff. So Reinhardt just making sure to hit multiple as many people as possible. We're going left with the camera, right with the camera, left, right. The camera's going with the swing of the hammer. That way we can damage people all around us, right? Whereas in our game we weren't really doing that, and that means that we're not gonna be able to hit as many people. Um, Make sure that we are using corners properly, right? We want to be holding here. A lot of times we just kind of hold out here, right? Just as a quick reminder, like why you want to be doing that, right? First off, cover usage, right? This means that now you have better cover usage. If your shield breaks or gets melted or you put it down, if we're out here, we don't have any good cover usage, right? But if we're over here, we do have cover usage, right? On top of that, as Reinhardt, you kind of dictate a lot of where your team stands, especially the higher up in ranks you go, and people will start to pay attention to you. That'll mean that you dictate where your team's standing, and if we're out in the open, our team's gonna be standing out in the open behind their shield, right? They're all gonna be right there. But if we're holding over here on the corner, then now our team's gonna be holding on the corner, and therefore they'll have better positioning as well. And then finally, this will also keep our shield alive longer, as when you hold on a corner, only half of it's visible, and then that means that now they can only damage half of it, and it'll stay alive longer, right? Make sure that we're getting aggressive when we have shields and health. Make sure we're playing passive when we don't. And then yeah, it's just like a lot of the just stuff that we've been talking about that we want to look to be starting to apply to our gameplay. So maybe at the end of the session I can just real quickly, at the very least, you didn't order the notes along with it, but at the very least I can give you just the main points of the session that we always go over. I'll just like write them down real quick just so you can and look to think through it while you're practicing, right? And make sure you're concentrating on the big thing that we've talked about, right? That way you can look to improve on it. So you probably look to go ahead and get into another game.
Okay. Okay, I'm queuing.
So you've been just checking your profile. So you've been playing mostly Reinhardt, yeah? Looks like.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've been playing a lot of other heroes though because I
Mm.
kinda I don't know. I was struggling with Reinhardt. I guess I felt like I was losing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that frustrated me.
Which, yeah, in competitive, it does look like you're losing a lot on him. You have a 37% win rate on him currently in comp. So yeah, that makes will get frustrating. Um, it looks like the majority of your playtime is in quick play. Have you been trying to play more competitive, or are you not super interested in competitive? Are you mainly trying to just give me that quick reminder? Like, are you mainly trying to look to play the game casually, or are you trying to integrate yourself into competitive?
No, I want to play competitive, but
Traveling
it's
towards
hard
the
for
is
me
Hmm?
because I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
So, if I'm like struggling with a champion sometimes, I
Mhm.
get frustrated, and
Okay, so
that affects my gameplay too.
yeah, so just make sure your goal while you're playing isn't to just win, because when your goal is to win, you're not going to be improving, and it's also going to tilt you, frustrate you when you are losing. Yeah, so here we can actually line up if you go to like where your Moira's standing, right? You can like line up a quick fire strike into spawn and then just back up right after you hit it. So you see that pathway through
Are you
there?
sure?
Yeah. So you can just
Oh, nice.
throw a
Okay.
fire strike through, and then you can just back up, right? And that way you get 7% ult charge, right?
Oh, nice. Oh, they're staying there? Should I?
Preferably they'd be backing up, but if they don't, then you can hold them. But yeah. Okay. You're seeing a lot of just us putting our shield up and spamming it out, so we'll have to talk again on just when should we be using it.
Okay.
Because if you remember, we're not going to be using it just for random spam, right? We're using it for specific things and instances, but we're holding it up a lot of the time.
Okay, okay. So I'm not sure what to do with the McCree.
Yeah, you don't specifically have to contest him, right? You leave him be. Oh, make sure when we're pinning, we have a wall in mind in which we're trying to pin into, right? Because there we just pinned a little bit too far, and then we ended up like going straight into their team, right? And then that kind of killed us, right? So we just want to make sure that we're not going that far into them, not charging into their team.
Yeah, I'm working on my charges still. Oh god.
That's fine. They just used 3 ultimates, so that's all good. Alright, us going back in, if they're using 3 ults to kill us, then that's probably better, like really good value.
Okay.
Reaper here.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B.
So here we can hold point, we can hold the choke point, or we can hold like top left. We have a couple different options here.
Oh, I have.
Probably say you should just like hold the choke point, right? That thing right there where you're looking at.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Nice block.
Oh no! I didn't mean to do that. No.
Okay. Good
Oh,
job getting
thank
out.
you, Mercy.
Oh, so yeah, they're the charge obviously, then just standing on the open a little bit too much, right? So instead of there, we could hold the left side or the right side of the choke, but instead we're just kind of sitting smack dab in the middle of it, right? And then on top of that, we didn't notice the McCree who was behind us, and then that comes in at awareness, and then we also never, because we died, never got a chance to use their ultimate. Why don't I talk real quick about just shield usage, right? Just as a reminder again, a lot of these things I think are just reminders just to get your brain back on them and make sure we're implementing them into our gameplay. So reminder for shield usage is we're not just going to put it up there to spam any old random damage, right? So if we're looking to go into a fight here, if we're just sitting here holding our shield, which is what we're doing a lot of fights, is we'll come into the fight, right? We're opening up the fight and we'll just stand here and we'll stand here and we'll stand here holding up our shield, right? Which isn't how Reinhardt likes to play. Reinhardt is a brawl character, right? We've discussed that, where Reinhardt wants to go in and swing on things. Otherwise, you should be on a character like Orisa or Sigma who can shoot and shield at the same time. Reinhardt can't shoot and can't shield and do anything else, so he needs to do one or the other. So he doesn't want to just sit here and shield, and in fact, he's not going to want to shield just random spam damage. Instead, he shields specific things. So when we are low health, when our team is low health, we shield. When we're blocking abilities or ultimates, we shield. When we're going in aggressive or backing out, we can shield, right? So like if we're pushing in, we can shield, or if we're backing up, we can shield, right? But we're not just going to sit here and shield. Or we can also shield if it's just if we see a ton of spam damage coming in, right? If we see it's just going to melt somebody. So those are all the situations where we shield, but we don't want to just sit here and shield. Instead, our play style should be fight starts, okay, we're waiting, we're sitting around the, like, if we don't need to always stand down the open, because what keeps happening is we'll stand right here and then like we're like, oh wait, I'm taking damage, I need to shield. Instead, what we could be doing is let them come to us. So let's say, for example, defense, right? Let's think that first choke point. We're like, okay, I'm not sure what to do. We're just kind of standing here and they're sitting over there. Well, they need to come through the choke, yeah, right? They have to come to the point to do anything. So what we can do is just hide around the corner, right? And then now they can't do any damage to us. We can swing on this corner, right? So if they come around the corner, we can do damage to them. We can just play on this corner. We can get a little bit aggressive and back up, right? We just playing off the corner. We don't need that way. We don't need to use shield while we can still swing and do things, right? Then again, we're like, once the fight begins and stuff's happening, then we get aggressive. We go in and swing. We go do stuff, and then once we're low health, then we can shield out, right? And whereas a lot of times we just, like, our playstyle instead is like we just are constantly, we're not using cover, right? We're just constantly sitting smack dab in the middle, not ever going over to that cover, and that means that we just take so much damage. We hold up our shield and we just kind of sit here, and then that's kind of what our playstyle looks like, right? When we want to make sure we're actually using cover, make sure we're kind of aggressing accordingly, and make sure we're swinging on things. Now, just as the reminder again for what you should be looking to do to improve upon your gameplay is remember, you're looking to focus on these things while you're playing, right? So when it comes to winning games, right? So you're getting tilted while you're playing. First off, take breaks when you get tilted, so you're not, playing multiple games straight. That's called, like, kind of tilt queuing, is when you're upset or you're tired or you're tilted or you're angry or whatever, right? You're just not playing, or you're just not playing good and you're losing games and you just keep playing. Don't do that. Instead, set a limit for yourself. Play like 3 games and then be done. Go, take a 30-minute break or take a longer break. If you come back and you still are losing, you're still in a bad mood, then just take a break for the day or just play quick play or something of that sort. Just set a limit for yourself. Then on top of that, right, make sure you're not focusing on winning, because when you focus on winning, that's going to lead to just stagnation. You're just going to stay the same if you're focusing on winning, whereas what you want to be focusing on is improvement, right? When you focus on improvement, then you're actually getting better, and then that means that you're winning even more, right? Then, right, make sure, while you're playing, you're going to make sure you're focusing on the thing you're trying to work on, and that in this instance, main one looking like aggression, right? So we're thinking about our aggression, right? We're going, or awareness, either or, right? So we're going aggression. When am I going in? When am I backing up, right? We're thinking through that constantly, and when we do that for long enough, right, and we practice at that, our aggression will look a little bit better, and it'll form as a habit, right? And then once that forms as a habit, we can move on to something else, and then we want to make sure you're not focused on every single thing at once, right? Because we don't want to go over positioning, aggression, awareness, and ability usage, right? Because that will get overwhelming. Instead, focus on one of them, and then once that's out of the way, then you move on to the rest. Would you say, like, in the last week, if the main one we've talked about in the past has been aggression/awareness, would you say that the number one thing that you were really focusing in on was aggression this week?
Maybe not this week, but after our sessions, I think I did. The thing is, I tried to focus on coverage to position,
Mm-hmm.
and I struggle so much focusing on the two because I get super confused when I do that. I'm like, wait, am I hiding? Wait, am I being aggressive enough
Mm-hmm.
to do it? And then I end up messing up even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that just keep in mind that you can be aggressive while using cover properly, right? You can, for example, like we have these pillars. So let's say we're trying to go in and we're trying to go in and get aggressive. We can go in and get aggressive while still using these pillars as cover, right? So we can play around these pillars and play near them, so we can use them as cover while we're getting aggressive. Notice I'm not just like walking out to this area where there's no cover anywhere, right? Instead, I'm using these pillars as cover. So you can play aggressive while using cover properly. And then keep in mind on like points like defense, you don't need to necessarily walk into them right away because they have to walk into you, right? So let's think through that icon wall map. Even like let's go back to the icon wall map. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So, one moment, let me get that open. No, it's not. What was an icon wall? This was all Sky. What am I talking about? So we were on control. No, assault, and it was all Sky Industries. There we go. So, on, well, Skya, right, that
Traveling to
first choke point
Noskaya
and the
East.
second choke point, let's just talk about how we're holding them.
Just
So,
us
we don't
in the
necessarily have to get insanely aggressive right off the beginning. We want to get aggressive when the fight's beginning, but we don't necessarily have to be aggressive just at all times, right? Sometimes you just let them walk into us because they have to come in to touch point. Yeah, they have to come in to capture the point, so we don't necessarily have to be engaging them in their spawn. So, let's talk about, maybe we've talked about this before, but as a quick reminder, do we talk about choke point usage and no man's usage at all? No man's land usage at all?
We talked about choke point, but I don't remember the last one.
Yeah, so choke point, just real quick, right? You see how choke points work, right? Is this would be the choke right here. It's a very or alternatively, you could say this is the choke, but then also I'd probably say even more accurately, it's this corridor and then this corridor, right? So these two individual choke points right here, right? Because if this wasn't here, it wouldn't even be like, if this truck wasn't here, this probably wouldn't even be that big of a that bad of a choke because it's just so wide, right? Wide open. So in any case, a choke point is this tiny little funnel that funnels the enemy team and makes it super easy to kill them, right? We don't want to stand in front of it, and we don't want to stand in the middle of it. We want to stand behind it, right? But even let's say we just stand behind it, and if we're just standing right here, well, now they can just stand on that other side of the choke, and they can just and they can just sit there and shoot at us, and they don't need to walk through it. So like, what's the incentive then for them to walk through? Well, two different things. First off, if we're forced to hold this, right? Well, I guess let's talk about let's talk about the optimal way, right? So first off, probably don't want to be standing here at all. Instead, what we should be is probably more so like holding over on point. So we can actually hold this choke point, because then they're actually forced to walk through the choke point, and we can actually shoot them from here. We can spam them out, and then if they go right side, we can meet them. And again, there's another choke point right here. So anywhere they go, they have to walk through two choke points. They have to walk through one or this one or that one, and they have to walk through this one or that one, right? Those are the four main ways that they can go, right? And that means that they have to walk through more choke points, and is better for us, and they actually have to walk through it. They can't just sit over there and spam at us. They have to come in and get more aggressive, right? Which means that now we can actually shoot at them while they're doing that, right? The other thing is no man's land. So no man's land is any long open space where there's no cover at all. So think, for example, I guess we can just say point, right? Point would just be a no man's land. If I'm sitting smack dab in the middle of point, where the heck am I gonna go where there's cover, right? There's cover so far away from me where this is really bad positioning. So in no man's land, you don't want to stand in the middle of it. You want to be it's the same, it basically acts as the exact same thing as a choke point, right? You want to be standing behind it, not in front of it, not in the middle of it, because if you stand in the front or the middle, you don't get any advantage, and then they just kind of then you have to walk backwards through it, right? So no man's land, a good way to think about it is like basically like any payload map, right, is going to be in no man's land, right? The path of the payload that it travels. This right here is a no man's land, so from point to that, right, it's such a wide open area that they have to walk through to get to point. So sometimes it might be valuable to just hold on point and let them walk through, because then they have to walk through that area where you can spam them out, right? So now let's because that's gonna be the optimal place to hold, right? Is back a little bit, right? So on the second point it'd be hold point, and then again, it'd be like basically hold point here, but that's not where a team's going to hold it very often, right? Especially in bronze, right? People aren't going to think to hold back here. So that goes back to the exact same thing we talked about last time is, well, if your team's not holding there, then just go hold where your team's holding, right? If 5 people on your team are doing something stupid, go be stupid with them, because otherwise you're that one person who's not in the fight and helping, right? Now, if our team's deciding to hold here, then what we can do is use this cover, right? This is cover right here. They can't shoot at us while we're right here. Therefore, we can just, we can peek forward for fire strikes. We can swing on this corner. We can just wait until they have to push through, because they eventually have to push through and do things. We can push forwards and swing a little bit, back up, and then use the cover, push forwards and swing, shield backwards, get around the corner, right? We just do the exact same thing. We just kind of poke and poke and poke until we see an opportunity, right? When we're up people, or we have ultimates that we can use, or something of that sort. Same thing back here, right? We are just standing like right here and like in hard shielding, right? Whereas what we probably should be doing is like holding over here and using a corner. They can't see us now. They can't shoot at us. Therefore, we can swing on this corner. We can go in and get a little bit aggro, back up, right? We can fire strike off a cooldown. Once we get an opportunity, then we can engage, right? Whereas a lot of time we just are constantly just kind of standing there with our shield up, right? Which just means that we get melted and our shield gets melted. Does that all make kind of a lot of, does any of that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay.
It's so much helpful.
Mhm.
I don't know why I didn't understand it before. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to walk you through kind of what holding, because I think we're especially struggling with just defensive, like what should we be doing with the like when we're on defense list, like how should we be, because we want to be, yeah, I think I understand what you're saying is like you want to be aggressive, but how do you be aggressive if you're getting aggressive in the bad positioning, right? Whereas I'd say you don't necessarily have to be. Being aggressive doesn't mean that you have to run into their team. It means that we just need to be doing things, right? It just means that we have to be having an impact, which means that we want to be swinging on things, which means that we just want to let them walk into us, right? Just hold the corner, let them run into you, right? So you can probably look to go ahead and just get into a queue. We'll try to implement that in the next game we're in, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, I get the sense. I never thought I would say that.
Yeah.
I'm on the game now.
Okay, I'm spectating.
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Okay, so it looks like we're on attack here. Okay, so let's think. Go ahead.
No, I guess it's the same with attack. We still need to look for.
Cover usage, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right, so let's think. Oh, it's not letting me spectate you. Come on. Oh yeah, there we go. So let's think through like some attack strategies here. Where are we going to be looking to push?
Uh, probably over here and stay behind these. Um,
Okay, so they're holding
maybe
point.
near the payload? No?
Yeah, so they're holding really close here. So we can probably just engage on these guys right out the gate. Use the boxes on the left and on the right. Use the payload as cover. Yeah, exactly like you said. So they're holding. Oh, it looks like they're all holding on the high grounds, right? Right over the top left. So you can get there using the stairs, which would be probably right now a good idea would be to go underneath them, right? So we can run up top. So even if we, yep, just in that room, there's a way that we can get up top. Alright, like right now we're up one, we have shields and health, so we should probably be getting aggressive, right? Swinging on things, right? Just play on this corner that we're on right now, right? We're up another person, we can probably still be getting aggressive. Make sure you're ahead of your team, not behind them, right?
Okay. Okay.
Like right here, this is a no man's land, there's not much cover, but we can push, we can still push through it as long as we have like the cart here.
Okay.
Heroes never die.
And we got a B, we can play super aggressive, we're up a pick, right?
Oh god.
Yep, good job using cover there. Okay. Now, probably a really good idea would be to. Oh, no, it looks like our D.Va's just going in main. That's fine. Uh-oh. So there we had a, too long of a charge. Remember with their charges that we don't want to do long charges because those are just going to get us killed, or even medium charges sometimes. So a lot of the times we want to go for short charges, which means that we want to have a wall in which we can pin them into like immediately, right? So, and you know, unless it's a charge for mobility, we want to make sure that we're just we want to make sure we're going into something close, right? That way we just don't get melted very, very fast by the enemy team. Okay, we're up 2. Right now we could be pushing forwards to get stagger kills, right? That way we can get the rest of the people, so we can get, you know, pretty aggressive because we're up 2 still, right?
Don't worry, my friends. I have your shield.
Yep, so like right here, we just want to be going, just run straight at them, right? There's no shielding necessary, right? We're at such a significant advantage that we don't need to worry as much about it, right?
Heroes never die.
Oh,
Fortunate.
I feel satisfied.
Enemy target located.
Yeah, we have a B, we can, oh. Okay, we're up 4 people, so we can just get insanely aggressive. Oh,
oh my god.
very nice. Yep, so in that last fight before this fight, we had a big advantage, but we just didn't really get aggressive. So I'm giving you those reminders. Pay attention to kill feed, right? Make sure we're getting aggressive when we see that advantage. Right now, again, we can get super aggressive, right? Go in and do things because they only have half their team with them right now.
Oh, my way.
That's fine. You could have pushed her there, right? You can just, you know,
Oh,
keep getting
really?
aggressive. Yeah.
I got a little bit scared.
Yep, like right now in there, they... Oh, see, we got...
Oh, oh my god, that was not what I expected to happen.
Yep, still we're at a massive advantage, so we can still be swinging, still be doing things. There, probably Shatter wasn't necessary because we had won that fight already. So again, paying attention to kill feed, remembering that no ults in won or lost fights, and that was a 1 fight. Okay, probably use the card as cover here. Yeah, or just these boxes. Yeah, that's fine.
Heroes never die.
We're up 2 people, right? So we can start getting really aggressive. We have an ult being used where you have 3 people. So yep, just keep swinging. 4 people, right? Okay, so aggression was looking a lot more solid when I'm being the one to call it out for you, but obviously we're trying to get to the point where you can do it for yourself, right? So I'm trying to get you into the habit of paying attention to like, you know, by me saying all this stuff, right? By me giving you these reminders, I'm trying to get you into the habit of paying attention to kill feed, knowing when we're up, we're going aggro, when we're down, we're playing passive, right? There, during most of that game, we were actually up people. I'd probably say like probably like most of those fights we were up like 3 people in a lot of them, yet we were still hesitant to get aggressive in those situations. So we just want to make sure paying attention to that kill feed, because when when it's a 6v3 or a 6v2 or 6v1, what are they going to do to you that's really going to kill you, right? You have such a significant advantage. You have team support, they don't. So we just want to get super aggressive and go into them, right? The more and more picks we have, right? So we just want to pay attention to that and, you know, be aware of our surroundings and engage our aggression off of that.
Okay.
Right, like I don't know if I talked about this last time, but or at least maybe I did, but just again as a reminder, right? Think of your aggression as like a scale, right? You have at 0 you have playing passive, at 100 you have playing aggressive, and usually you're gonna be around, like on average you're gonna be around 50%, right? Because you're smack dab in the middle. When you get advantages, so like let's say we are up 1 to 2 people, that's where we would bump it up a percentage. So I guess like even let's say we'll just we'll even go with numbers. So like, you know, you're up 1 person, now you bump it up from like a 50 to a 60. 2 people, you go to a 70, 3 people 80, 4 people 90, 5, 6 people like 100, right? You just bump it up. The more kills you have, the more aggressive you're getting. Goes the exact opposite way as well, right? When you're down, you know, that when you're down 1 person, goes from 50 to a 40. 2 people 30, right? 3 people 20, 4 people 10, you're down 5 or 6 people. That's where you're like at a 0, right? So you just go up and down with that aggression, and then there's other things that go into your aggression as well, but those are the main ones.
Okay.
So here our team's holding this choke, so you see the wall on your right. We're just gonna kind of play around that. We can push a little bit past the choke, just don't go too past the choke unless we get a big opportunity, right? Yep, this fire strike's fine.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Throw your fire strike
Oh,
slightly
no.
earlier. Keep in mind that it has a travel time, so throw it at like 1 second rather than waiting till the doors open.
Oh, I keep pressing the wrong one.
Yep, so let them walk in a little bit more. We're scaring them away because we keep walking forwards at them. Just let them come in a little bit further, then we can run into them, right? It's like now look at them, right? They're all a lot closer now that we're letting them in. And then that's when we can look to engage. And now they're a lot closer, we can probably, do some stuff.
Not yet.
Do you think I should have gone for her?
No, I think you probably could have killed her, though. I mean, I'd say either or, because
Should
like
I
right now, for example, yeah, if you can get her. Very nice pin.
Oh, nice.
So, yep, again, same thing, reset at the choke point. Probably hold the right wall rather than the left wall. That's going to give you a better way to escape and get back to your team. Just, draw them in a little bit. Then once they're right at the choke, then we can engage on them, right? We're up 1. We have coalescence. We can get a little bit more aggressive. Right. Oh, remember I said a little bit.
Oh god.
Probably. So there. That wasn't much you could have done, but holding our shield, right? There we just, in general, we lost that fight because we just got way too aggressive off of 1 kill. So remember, we're going from 50 to 60, not all of a sudden ramping it up to 90, right? So we kind of charged straight past the choke into the middle of 5 people, so we just got too aggressive. So we just want to, pay attention to that. So instead, the better move would have just been maybe just swing a little bit more on the choke point, right? Just like go get a little bit more aggressive. Okay, here we can hold on this corner that we're at right now, or we can hold the choke point. Either or works in their own ways. It really depends on where our team's trying to hold. We're up a person.
Right here, right?
We're up a person, so maybe we can get a little bit more aggressive. We're up 2 people, so we can get even more aggressive off of that, right?
Okay.
No, but now we're only up 1 person. Yep, good job. Use the corner. No, no shield. What does that mean we can do?
Oh. I'm like, wait. I know this one.
There, make sure we're swinging our camera around a little bit more. That would have been a fantastic situation where that would have allowed us to damage more than just the soldier, right? We have like 5 people shattered, but we're only swinging on 1 person. Whereas if we swing our camera around now, we can hit a lot more people.
Oof.
Very close. That charge is a hard. I struggle with actually landing pins.
Yeah, I think I got it right once, and ever since I've been trying to do it again. But I haven't been able to.
Frag striking up a cooldown. Yep, there you go. Probably hold the left corner, right? The left side has more cover than the right side. There's not really much on the right side. Don't scare them away. Let them walk into the choke, right? Let them walk through it. And now we can walk in. We have a beat. We get a little aggressive. Watch the health though. Oh, watching the health.
Right. Yeah. Oh my god.
So, at the very start of that fight, again, we just got engaged a little bit too early, where that means that we just kind of just scare them away and they just back up, and then we're in the middle of the choke point and they're not. Instead, bait them in, let them walk into the choke a little bit more, right? Let them walk in and then you can engage, right? When they're all grouped up, when you can swing through all of them all at once, where your team can shoot them super easily and they can't really run away as easily, right? That's where we want to be engaging, is when they're in the middle of that choke. All right, right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There, pay attention to kill feed again, because we were engaging when we were down half of our team, right? So that was a lost fight that we were walking into, so we want to make sure we're just not walking into that.
Again! Again!
Now everyone is alive and they lost one.
Mm-hmm.
So 6-3. Oh, how the hell?
Watch health bar, right? Really all there was to that one. Nice shatter. Probably walk out the right door. This gives you a better angle for the charging a lot of the times. That way you can just charge back at and not have to do this wide curve that you have to do here.
Oh, okay. That's the right one.
Yeah, the right one rather than left one. The right one also has just a little bit more cover usage. You know, left one has its uses, but.
Oh my god, what?
Alright, right now we're down 3 people, so we just want to be looking to group up, not push in. Because
How?
since we kind of just sat there, right, that meant that they were able to push us and kill us. So instead, we just want to be backing up, right, instead of sitting still. So remember, we're not sitting at 50% when we're down 3 people, right? We're backing up to like a 20%. We're getting out.
Oh no.
Oh, watch the void.
That was my
Yeah,
bad.
they're pitting the cart just might be a better idea, because then you can stall the cart out longer and wait for teammates to come back, right?
This is not over.
And then you also have the possibility of actually getting someone in the cart, right?
Not as young as it used to be. I need healing.
Yeah, we're just looking to stall out cart in that situation, we're just looking to stall out cart as long as possible, right? Not particularly looking to do anything else.
This is
I didn't know that Doomfist could
Punch
kill me
your
even went
yeah.
by. Yeah.
Yeah, same as like what we were talking about with Reinhardt and Genji. The physical attacks can go through our shield.
Oh my god.
So any character that's gonna whack you or anything like that can go through. I think that's all of them. Are there any other characters? So you have Doomfist, right? Doomfist punch goes through your shield and will drop your shield as well. Reinhardt swing goes through it. Genji slashes go through it. Right? Coalescence goes through your shield. Obviously that ultimate goes through your shield. I'm trying to think what other things. I think those are mainly the ones I'm trying. Trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah.
Oh.
Maze ult, yeah, obviously, Maze ult can go through
Oh,
your
and
shield.
Junkrat Soul.
No, Junkrat's ult cannot go through your shield. Your shield can
What?
block it. Yeah, Junkrat's,
Really?
you can block it. So you have to, if he goes inside, like if he goes like right up on inside of your body, he can go past your shield, right? In which case he can kill you. But if it's in front of your shield, then you will be able to block it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. Then I'm just gonna, you can go ahead and get into another queue. I'm just gonna look at the hero gallery, right, just to walk you through this a little bit more. Brig swinging can go through your shield, right? Because again, it's a physical attack.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Then sorry, a grab can grab you through your shield. Looking through.
Can Reaper go through my shield?
Reaper
I feel like
cannot, because he's a gun. Yep,
Oh.
he can walk past your shield again. Like any character in the game can walk past your shield, but he cannot shoot through your shield. Summer can hack you, but that does not. Again, you can cancel that with your shield. She cannot hack through your shield.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so if she tries to hack, for example, let's say she's like behind you and she tries to hack you, if you swing around real quick and shield towards her, then it'll cancel it. Then I'm trying to think. And Winston Tesla can go through your shield and his primal can go through your shield as well. And then that's pretty much it. And then they can break your shield, get around your shield, right? D.Va, if she's boosting at you, that'll do damage through your shield, but that doesn't do very much damage anyways. Yep, so those are all the main ones. And then Reinhardt obviously can. I'm spectating you.
Welcome to Junkertown.
Statistically speaking, I usually get most of my team back alive, but who's
Alright,
counting?
well, it's locking me on the far end BAP here. Might have to leave and then rejoin here.
5,
Okay, that's weird.
2,
Yeah, it's a bug that happens in spectating.
Let's see.
welcome to Junkertown.
Do I go help them or do I
If you're,
stay?
remember, if your whole team's being super aggressive, then you go get aggressive with them, right? If they're being stupid and being up there. Yeah, I still can't see your point of view.
Welcome to Junkertown.
It's not.
Get in here!
Come on.
Get in the immortality field. Not half bad.
Yeah. Might need you to leave and then rejoin again here.
You're fully
Okay. Do I just leave right now?
Yeah, you can leave. It's not letting it's only letting me spectate 2 of the characters, which is a glitch that happens sometimes. Usually it just automatically fixes itself, but then sometimes it doesn't. All right. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's okay. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I found the game.
Okay, I'm spectating.
Traveling to Horizon Lunar Colony.
I like this map.
A lot of people don't.
Really?
Yeah, this map and Paris were removed from the
Oh,
competitive rotation because so many people dislike them.
oh, I hate Paris. It's so unfair.
My ultimate is charging.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
I just like how many
Fight.
cover is in this map. I feel like.
Okay, so here, what's the plan? Where are we trying to go?
Right?
Okay,
And then,
and then
oh, I thought someone was talking to you, but no, it was someone talking to the voice.
3,
Ultimate is
1.
Yeah, right? And then Shatter Strike,
Objective
and then,
we can go to high ground from here. We can go straight to probably the 2 different options we have are we can go contest them on the high ground on the top right, or we can go straight to point, right? Probably say high ground would be a good play to make. So you can go
yeah.
right side. You probably want to take the room on the right next time just so you have more cover to use.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, everyone is here.
Nice pin. Right, that had a pretty close wall to it, so it worked out. Watch the health bar, right?
Oh god.
I need shields.
Okay, might need to grab like the health pack in there. Yep.
Much better.
Fantastic pin.
Triple kill.
Whoa.
Well, just hiding the fact that you're fantastic at pins until late into the game.
I know.
Stand with me.
Honestly, I feel like it's just pure luck. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I
Which, the last two that you went for were very good pins.
Objective A captured.
Alright, so we'll
Commence
give
attack
you
on objective B.
one more push here, and then if it doesn't work out, then we might have to leave again. Sorry for making you leave
don't.
so many games.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Come out and face me. My barrier is destroyed.
Barriers on.
Good usage of cover.
Experience
Oh, kind of missed that a little bit.
Das Universum singt vorbei. Oh, excuse. Get behind me. It's
Oh, make sure you shielding that, not fire striking it. That way you can save your team, right, and they won't get hit. All right, so why don't you go ahead and leave this game? Sorry again.
Okay.
Hopefully you don't get like get XP reduction or anything from that. So in any case, I'm going to, we'll do the review, right? Just do it a little bit faster than usual since a lot of the stuff we've seen before. But just keep in mind that you can go back and rewatch this review like either like once before you get on for the day or anytime you just forget like what are we trying to what are the main points, what are you trying to go over, that way what should you be looking to work on, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
justice.
main points, number one thing was aggression and awareness, right? It's just that those two that kind of went together. We talked a lot about that, right? When should be going in, when should be getting out, right? So watch kill feed. We've talked about this in very much depth and a lot of different times, right? 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. Make sure we're glancing at it anytime we see movement up there. Anytime we see something happening, we're looking at it, just so we can tell whether or not we're winning or losing. We scale our aggression based off of kill feed and based off of the advantages and disadvantages we have. When we are, we start out at a kind of basic natural 50%. Then as we get kills, right, we're going up. We're going, 1 to 2, 1 kill, 60%, 2, 70%, 3, 80%, 4, 90%, 5 or 6, 100%, right? We're just going super aggressive once we get all those kills. When now it also goes the opposite way, right? We're toning it down the less people we have, so we, are down 1 person, bring it down from 50 to 40, right? Down 2, 30, 3, 20, 4 down to like a 10, and then 5 or 6 down to a 0, right? Just getting
Yeah.
super passive, make sure we're not going back in when we don't have kills. Pay attention to other things that affect your aggression. Pay attention to health bar and our health bar and our shield health. That way we can get aggressive or passive accordingly. And then pay attention to what are some other things. Kind of where's your team at? Where's the enemy team at? Paying attention to, I think that's a lot of the main ones, right, that we talked about. Right, so move on to the next one, right? So that's a lot of the big stuff there. Make sure that we're, not getting super aggressive, but then also just on kind of on holding, right? Keep in mind, you don't always have to be constantly in their face to bait them in a little bit more, especially when using choke points in No Man's Land, right? If we're trying to get them to come to us, don't constantly run at them. So let's say, for example, we're trying to get them to walk through this. Where's the choke point? Let's say we'll do a choke point like right here, right? Let's say this choke point. If we're trying to get them to walk through this choke point, we don't want to just constantly be in their face up here. Instead, we would just kite back a little bit, wait, let them push in, right? Let them walk in a little bit closer. Then we can kind of pounce when they're a little bit closer. Then go in and get aggressive, right? So just kind of play like that. So then number 2 thing to work on will probably be at your cover usage, right? And how we're using cover. Make sure that we're using cover in the first place, right? Good positioning is usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Play on corners. That'll, get you all the benefits of shield hiding in the wall, of teammates being there with you, of you not being on the open. Make sure that we are using choke points in no man's land correctly, right? That we're holding at the end of them or behind them, not at their front or in the middle. And we just want to make the enemy team walk through them and kind of bait them through them, right? Not ourselves being in them whenever possible. Now, keep in mind as well that if your team's holding in terrible positioning, go join them, right? If one person is doing something stupid, that's called feeding. If 6 people are doing something stupid, that's called a strategy. So if you are being the only person pushing up into their spawn, that's terrible, bad idea. If your entire team is doing that, then go do it, right? That's what you want to be doing, because then if you're not doing it, then they're going to be down a person, right? Then moving on to ability usage, shield management. Make sure you're not just shielding for any random spam damage, but you're shielding when you are low, when your team is low, for abilities and ultimates, for when you're pushing or backing up, and when you're shielding a ton of spam damage, right? A ton of it. But you don't want to just shield for any day random stuff, because a lot of our playstyles just kind of sit here and shield, sit here and shield, sit here and shield, and then we'd go, right? Or we'd sit here and shield and whatever, right? Instead, we want to just play in the corner, use the corner as cover, right? Swing on the corner, let them push in, then we get aggressive, right? Then when we're when we're low, right, then we shield out, right? Kind of what we want to be doing with it. Fire Strike coming off the cooldown, I think just we just want to practice that, landing them more often. Charges, make sure we're not going for long distance charges, right? But we're going kind of a short one, unless it's for mobility and there's no one there to punish you, right? So the last two on the last game we were in looked pretty solid. You just want to keep those up. And then finally the last one, or just make sure you're swinging around with your hammer. And then finally, last one is just going to be your ultimate usage, which just looked very, very solid. Honestly, not a lot of work needed to go into it. Pay attention to things that can block it. Make sure we're not accidentally shattering nothing like we did in the last game we were in. But for the most part, Shatter's looking very, very solid. So, any questions about anything we've talked about?
I think I learned a lot.
Alright, so yep, I'll just real quick then just write down those or if you wanted to write down, it's mainly just 3 things. Honestly, you could even take the ultimate usage out of there, because your ultimate usage is looking so good for the current rank that you're at in the current moment without getting super advanced with it. So honestly, I just write down those 3 main points, right? Aggression / awareness, then positioning, then ability usage, and then make sure you're focusing on those as you're playing in that particular order. And then also just come back and watch the last 6 minutes of this recording to just give yourself a quick reminder, like maybe once while you're getting on for the day, or do it once every couple of days, just so you know what you're trying to look to work on. All right. So if there's nothing else, then I'm going to stop the recording there.